Okay, so that's another bike. I didn't need another bike, but I have another bike. And, whoops. No, just kidding. I'll explain why. HoonTV! Alright, so here's the thing. It is actually another bike, and I did get it, and I didn't pay for it because a friend of mine has given this to me, and I wouldn't say given to me, but donated it to me because he thinks that I might be able to do something cool with it. It's kind of stashed in the corner right now because I'm just trying to work out the exact plan of attack, but the sad part is this did belong to his brother who's no longer around, so he wanted me to maybe do something with it to do something in his memory. So here it is a CBR 1100 Blackbird, very similar, it doesn't have the front fairings on it obviously, very similar to the one that I was riding around in the Isle of Man, which was my friend John Hocking's bike, and I really enjoyed riding that bike. They are a real beast of a thing, these things. They've got loads of grunt. This one here, no idea how many kilometers it's got on it because it's got an aftermarket speedo on it, and it kind of does stuff. I think the battery's dead, but it fired up the other day, but right now it is full of spiders. It's been sitting around, it kind of ran, but I think the spark plugs are all junk. Don't know what the fuel's like in it, so my plan is to maybe just clean it first, pull the tank off, pull the plugs out, check what the fuel's like. It's got flat tyres, I think the valves are all stuffed. It needs a fair bit of TLC. I do have some plans, but I'll probably just start stripping it first and work out what to do from there. So let's see what we can do with this thing and see if we can put some cool memories in for Tony, who owned this bike. So here we go. Okay, so it's a bit dark in here, but as you can see, I didn't bother going for the time lapse as I normally do because who cares about watching a bike come apart. I've literally stripped heaps of stuff off it, and I'm kind of at this point. I've put a set of spark plugs in it. It does seem to run alright, so we'll just go from there. But here's the plan, and apologies for how dark it is because it's kind of in the carport here. But what I've done is I'm just messing around with the forks, see if I can shorten them by shortening the tubes in the inside the forks here. They will have limiting straps on them anyway. Other thing is I'm actually working on lowering the back of the bike by using, instead of the factory dog bone, 2 Heim joints and a left and right threaded rod. I got these from Ash at Bullant. These are super strong. They've also got the locking nuts and the little spacers and everything like that. So that's a guesstimation, but I can adjust it, and if it needs to be cut shorter then we can do that as well. Also, because I love Street Fighters, I've decided to go down the Street Fighter path. So I have some bar risers and a set of Pro Taper fat bars instead of the old clip-ons, so it's going to be like a drag fighter type bike. And then on top of that, the factory metal, of course it's metal, steel subframe, which weighs quite a bit, is out, and I'm going to be swapping it for this spare CBR 900 one, which has been drilled out before anyway. It doesn't exactly fit, but bit of welding and grinding, and then we'll make it fit, and then I'll be able to adapt the battery box into it as well, and just mess around with it, so that should be pretty good. I'm thinking just riding that spare CBR 900 tail, because it's kind of period correct maybe, and yeah, go from there. I just got to be able to modify the exhaust. But and the other thing I've done too is, because these are in this weird sort of front and back combined brake setup, it is drag bike, so I'm only going to run one front caliper, and these do run a 6-pot caliper anyway, so one rotor is off, one is still there, and that means that I'm just going to have to run one brake line now on the front. So basically just tearing heaps of crap off the bike to save some weight. I've got to get into this front wiring loom here and work out what's what and all that. Speedo wise, probably maybe not even use that, might just run oil pressure and alternator light, and then other than that, because drag bike. So we'll keep moving. Alright, here's me. And here's the bike. So it's the weekend, so there's 1,001 people outside with lawnmowers and whippersnippers and crap at the moment. But so far what I've done, and I can still adjust the height of it, but I've lowered the back, and obviously there's no subframe on it. I've pulled all the wiring out. I've got the inner tray here, just sitting here ready to be modified or whatever, because I'm not going to use all the back of it. It's just going to probably just the battery part. Then on the front, because of my Street Fighter days, whoops, almost tripped over there. And there's Frank the Tank, yes, waiting for some TLC. Got some stuff to go on that soon. And yes, my Street Fighter days, I wanted to Street Fighter this, because I always love riding bikes with motocross bars on them. So here, a set of Pro Taper bars, some bar risers with a single bolt in them. I've had to put a shorter bolt in them, which is a pretty simple process, but that's all done. I've also gone in and shortened the tube inside the fork by about 50mm just to bring it down, plus I'll have some fork straps on there, so they'll go up and over the frame and then tie down the forks. I probably mentioned this already, but this weird contraption-y proportioning left-hand caliper on the front is no longer there. So I've pulled off the left-hand caliper and left-hand rotor, so there's some weight saving there. But these do run a massive big 6-pot caliper anyway, so yeah, that'll be fine. One rotor on the front will be more than sufficient, and I'll probably be using a fair bit of rear brake as well, given the fact that I have strapped forks. So pretty happy with the progress there. The next thing I'm going to be doing, and it's all sort of dummied up at the moment, I'll put some plugs in it, did seem to run okay, so I'm not sort of stressing about that. Big other bonus I did notice when I pulled apart was, I've got the crap over at the moment because I'm doing this outside the shed, is under here there's a K&N filter there, which is very cool, and I've got my subframes. So this is the steel one. I don't even have a scale here to weigh them, but this steel one is heavy as hell. That is quite solid. And then here's the aluminium one, that's a CBR 900 one, which is like one finger. Stewie, or one of the guys that owned this before, had drilled it out to save some weight in there. So the awesome part is that, so one finger, break my finger. These two are almost identical there, and then dimensionally, not a hell of a lot of difference. Probably less than an inch, I guess. So basically all I've noticed is that these two here are slightly wider than these ones, and mostly because this is stepped in with this sort of step type setup rather than that just being square. Much easier to do with steel, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip these through the welds here, pull this plate out, so I should be able to bring that in, and then I'll dummy it in with the bottom bolt and hopefully be able to work out if I'm going to cut that off, push that tube further down, because these have actually got a solid block spacer in them, which means that when you do up the bolt it doesn't crush. So I can either snip that there, push it further down, drill another hole, or just modify it and do whatever I need to do. But yeah, this subframe here will be perfect for what I need, and because it's been on a race bike before, somebody's hacked off the passenger side, well, left hand side pillion peg mount. I can probably clean that up a bit more, but that one there can be used for mounting the exhaust, which is perfect. It's still got the same provisions for the rectifier regulator, and I'll probably end up putting the CBR tail on it because I got that spare CBR tail. So this little Project Street Fighter drag bike thing is progressing, and for not a lot of money as well. I think my budget so far has been about $300. So the whole goal is to try and do this for under $1,000. I've still got to get tires for it, and then we're going to vinyl wrap it or do something like that. But yeah, if I can do this for under $1,000, then yeah, it'll be a pretty cool thing. So not really much into the budget projects normally, but this should be a bit of fun, and it looks like a pretty solid bike, so pretty happy with that. And yeah, I'm going to keep going, try and get the subframe on today. Alright, so I've chopped that part out and I've got the subframe sitting in there with the lower bolts in. Could probably sit a little bit higher. The taper in there is a bit of a pain, and if I drill that out it's just ugly because that's on an angle there. Not going to work. So shout out to World Class. This is our old logo, so I've still got some stock of their discs that they gave me, but all the abrasives they sent me, 10mm cutting discs, all the flap discs, all that sort of stuff, wire brushes, the whole deal. Pretty amazing. I actually set them up in a pretty cool cupboard. I'll show you really quickly. There you go, nice welder, yeah. And my other TIG welder, which is going to get used in about 5 minutes once I cut that. But in the cupboard here I have all of that, some drag car parts as well, sort of floating around there, my EGT sensors from Haltech, and a heap of MIG welding wire, which is awesome, some spare gloves, a bag for my TIG welder, jacket, some more drag car parts, a parachute, and also all of my TIG welding rods up here, so they're all hanging nicely. And I've been doing a bit of aluminium welding, so I'm not yet getting to the point, but I will be needing some more soon, which is awesome, which means I'll be getting some good TIG time. But yeah, now I'm going to use this. The only problem is, like everyone else, I can't for the life of me find my angle grinder tool. So yeah, I think I need to buy an angle grinder with 17 angle grinder tools. So anyway, I'm going to get back to this and show you what I'm going to do. So because the width of these is pretty good here, but it's too far forward, I'm pretty much going to go back to hopefully around this straight section here and go snip through here, and then basically cut that and work out how long that needs to be and bring the subframe up. I'll sit the tail on it so that I know exactly what angle it's going to sit on, but I'm pretty happy with the height of the bike at the moment too. Other thing I'm probably going to do as well is I'm going to have to make custom ones because I can't seem to find any anywhere, but the rear sets on here are just these CBR 1100 ones, so I'm going to make a bracket and then use some CBR 900 ones, so I'm going to bring them up further because the muffler may end up going under the bike or low, get it out of the way, but I want to be able to put my feet further back on the bike. And then the advantage of doing that as well is that on this side here, it's a bit dark, sorry, but this has got your conventional style lever that comes straight off the shaft, so there's no shaft support either, so I might put one of them in there. But what it means is that if I go back to a conventional style one with a lever and a rod, then I can actually put a quick shifter in it, because then the rod will have the push-pull type thing on it, and I may even go GP shift, so it's a down to shift, so that way I can bring the pegs back further so I can sort of lean over the bike more, and then yeah, basically that'll be coming off the rear set here, and then it'll just be a rod to there. And like on the other bikes, yeah, shift support, so that gives a bit more shaft support there, for it's better for fast gear shifts. And then other stuff like the chain and sprockets look like they're about 400,000 years old, so probably get rid of them and get some fresh ones of them too, and then give it a full service, new coolant, new oil filter, and then yeah, probably good to go. Well, maybe we'll see how it goes, but I think this is pretty good. It's a Honda, should be good. So yeah, let's go cut stuff. So right about now, every single YouTuber is going to agree with me that doing stuff when you're YouTubing, if that's the word for it, is a little bit more time consuming because you've got to stop, film, stop, film, stop, film. So I've trimmed that down now. I think that's roughly at the right height. I'm pretty happy with that. And what I've done is, so I've trimmed that out and I've shortened there. Obviously these don't line up anymore, but that doesn't matter because what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld it top and bottom and then brace it back in there and then fill it. Like I'll either put a bit of aluminium in there and then weld it across here and here, but then I'll also put a brace tab either under here or on the bottom or something like that. Just saves having to recreate the whole thing again and go and make it all line up and everything. This is a quick build, but it's still going to be super strong. I do also have a piece of plate that I can mount across there too, which will bridge that gap, and then I can weld the sides, top, bottom, the whole thing. So it's going to be just as strong as it was before. But what I've done to pull everything into line is I've actually got that sitting there, and then I've put tie strap here just to pull it all forward so it pulls it hard up against them. So I've got these nice and flush here and here. So what I'll do is I'll get the TIG welder now and I'll clean that up with some IPA, and then just put like a nice tack here and here so it holds itself, and then I can sit the tail on and see how that looks. I might even sit the tank back on, see how the tail and tank all sit together. So yeah, let's get it happening. Alright, I'm not going to lie, this stuff is a bastard to weld because it's got anodizing on it and sort of buzzed it back and everything like that, so it's just tacked at the moment, so I'll just have to really concentrate when I weld it, but had pretty good success before doing it. And this is bolted on at the front on the factory bolting tabs, which is awesome, and basically that's going to sit up about there, so I still need to get up in there and make 2 more brackets, unless I can find some of the factory ones, which would be awesome as well. I think I might have some stashed, but kind of sitting like that, and I like it because I could have gone for a later model one, but the main thing is it's kind of waste not want not. I had this CBR one sitting around and it sort of kind of suits the retro look. I had the spare subframe, so I'm trying not to spend money or anything like that. Plus it's got a nice backstop on it as well, so I can sort of rest my butt against it for, you know, taking it down the drag strip. So yeah, it's looking pretty good, and yeah, I'll just go find either some brackets or just make up some aluminium strip or something. It should be pretty easy to make some brackets for them. So yeah, other than that, it's there, and then I've just got to notch out some bits of aluminium or something like that just to make that work, and then yeah, we've pretty much got a subframe in place.